I am the Highland Scribe, Cheryl L. Hudson, storyteller. I am about to begin. Are you ready? Danny and the Cu Sith. I am the Highland Scribe, scribe to the stones, to the winds, to the bloodline that walks unseen. Come closer. No, closer still. The fire's warm. But this tale tonight, well, that runs wild. When last we sat by this flame, I told you of Danny, the traveller boy, of his old pony, of the Cu Sith that took her life, and the pup, Skalgalian, born of the beast, yet raised by human hands. Bound by blood, shadow and soul, boy and beast. But all things wild must choose a path, and fate, well, it's a jealous thing. 3 boars, eyes ablaze with fury, charged Danny like demons through the trees. He fell. The world turned slower. Then Skalgalian leapt. A roar shook the woods. Not dog, not wolf, but something in between. Something much older. He hit the firstborn mid-charge, fangs bared, claws ripping like blades, forged in thunder. The second met his wrath, torn down with a snarl so fierce, the very trees, well, they held their breaths. The last, well, he charged, and Skalgalian, he welcomed it. Blood spilled, screams echoed through the entire forest. And when it had ended, the ground ran red. Skalgalian stood painted in battle, Danny unharmed and alive. Because of his friend. That night round the fire, old Maggie watched them, boy and beast, side by side. She cast her runes. The bones cracked and clicked like thunder on the earth. And her eyes seemed to go far away. "That's nae dog, laddie," she said low. "That there is a weapon shaped by old blood. And if he stays by your side, laddie, blood will be drawn. No just yours, but innocents, folk and kin. They'll come for him, ye ken. The forest, the world he comes fae. They'll want him back. And if he stays, and you don't let him go, they'll take you too." Danny clenched his fists. "I dinna care. He's mine and I love him." But Maggie, she just looked at Skalgalian, curled quietly by the fire. "Danny, he dreams in tongues we canna speak. And when they call him back, you hate to let him choose." Seasons turned, as they do, and Maggie passed into the mist herself, and Shadow stayed always stayed. But the whispers grew louder about Skalgalian. Villages that they passed through spoke of howls in the night that terrified their very souls. Livestock began being torn apart. Children waking from dreams soaked in fear. Lanterns would blow out without a wind nearby. Then men began vanishing near the edge of the woods. And always, always, there was Danny and Skalgalian. His shadow, his beast, the big, silent, green-eyed shadow. Some called him loyal. Others, well, a demon wearing a dog's face. Then came the blood moon. The sky bled crimson. The trees began pulsing like a heartbeat. And the air turned heavy and ancient. Danny stood by the fire that night, feeling the shift in the world. Skalgalian stood at the tree line, still as stone. Then from the black, a howl, long and lonely, it was calling to Skalgalian. It shook the very glen. The kind of sound that makes your bones remember that they are dust. Skalgalian turned and looked back at Danny. He walked over and he pressed his head into Danny's chest. He gave a sigh and he whined, and he looked up at Danny, his friend. Danny clutched him close. He knew. He looked at his dog, his friend. "Go on then," he whispered, "but I always remember me." And Skalgalian, shadow, the Cu Sith, turned. He walked into the mist and vanished as if he'd never been there. As Danny headed back into the village, he was filled with grief, but no one would look at him, no one took him on. And he went like that for some months, until one night he was unpacking his stuff and starting to set up a fire, and the same happened. The air changed, and then he heard it. Footsteps, soft and slow. Skalgalian had come back, just for a moment. He pressed his nose to Danny's hand and licked his face. He leaned into Danny as if to say, "I miss you, I'm here and I remember you, like the old times." Danny smiled, something he hadn't done since Skalgalian walked off into the forest the first time. He knew this was not a goodbye, but "I will see you later." Then Skalgalian again was gone. Danny never stopped wandering, but he never walked the woods at night ever again. Some say he went mad, heartbroken at the fact that he had lost his companion, his friend, his loyal friend. Others say that he'd been touched by the Fae. But amongst the travellers, we remember, we know. Some of them called him Danny the Panny, who thought he tamed a Cu Sith. So if you're wandering near a glen, with sorrow in your heart, and your steps are slow from grief, whisper the name Skalgalian, and a green furred shadow might rise from the bracken. He'll walk beside you, silent, loyal and fierce, a protector of those forgotten, a promise that he made long ago and keeps to this very day. Well, some say stories are just tales to pass the night away, but some stories, they wait in the roots, in the blood. Perhaps in the howl of a creature that shouldn't have loved a mortal boy but did. Sleep, light wanderer, for the old world still walks beside us, cloaked in shadows. I am the Highland Scribe. Scribe to the stones, to the winds, to the bloodlines that walk unseen. Join me next week for another tale that has gone far too long unheard.